Networks.
Yeah, what's happening, everybody? How are you? Local Music Monday, live and direct from the Disruption Network. You can follow along on all Disruption Network social media platforms. It's me, Z. Hope you're enjoying your Monday. Yeah, stuck in the bedroom still, hanging out with all my poster friends and my stuffed animals and all my autographed posters on the wall. So still doing it. I hope you're doing well, too. But it is Local Music Monday, and I'd like to introduce my co-host who just got fresh off his live stream, and he killed it. And in fact, me and the guests both commented on how much we love that Crawl song, which he ended his live set with. But ladies and gentlemen, from the great band Showtime, give it up for Justin Smithson, right? I'm going to be the audience today, too. I'm going to be the audience. So.
Oh, you guys are great.
How was your weekend, brother?
Dude, I can't complain. It's rough. You know what I mean? It's getting rough. You know, I'm still itching. It gets to like the weekend, and I'm still itching to play, and it's just it's really difficult. And our guest here today will let you know how difficult that is to play in front of a phone instead of a crowd of people. That's Dave Brown there from Grit and Grace. How's it going, brother?
Yeah, good, see, I'm the audience today too. Yeah.
It's going good. I caught Sean Sean. He's not Sean.
Strike one.
Strike one. Yeah, I get that a lot though.
Show earlier, it was awesome. It was great, man.
Thanks, man. I get that a lot though. The whole Sean thing. People come to me, they're like, "Hey, man," they're like, "How was the voice?" And I'm like, "I wouldn't know." And they're like, "Well, what do you mean? You're big sexy, right?" I'm like, No.
I've never called you Sean. I don't even know where that came from.
I'm not big sexy. I'm Bald Justin.
Bald Justin, exactly. That's what I tell people too. I'm like, Sean's got hair. I'm like, how does anybody think that I'm big sexy? Come on.
That's hilarious, man. You know, Dave, it's kind of fitting that you're on today's show because this past weekend, which was supposed to be the Barded Mud Fest, Grit and Grace is always at the top of that lineup every year for the Barded Mud Fest. So it's kind of fitting that you're here and doing the thing with us. I know this weekend they had what they called a virtual Chalk the Walk for Barded Mud Fest. And it's too bad that we couldn't have it, unfortunately. But I do want to personally and publicly thank you for all the years for playing Barded Mud Fest for us, man. You guys, each and every year, you're a fan favorite, and you guys knock it out of the park. So thank you for all the years you contributed to that.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. We enjoyed doing it. It's always a good time. I'm kind of sad we didn't do it this year. Usually it's the kind of the summer kickoff show. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's starting to get nice out and everything. Yesterday was beautiful.
I remember I think it's one of the last years we did the Barded Mud Fest. Everybody was there from Grit and Grace except for your drummer, who's incredible, by the way. But he wasn't there yet, and we were just like everybody running around going, "Did you call him?" "Yeah, I called him. He didn't answer. I don't know what's going on." It was like I don't even know. It's like 45 minutes later, like after you guys were supposed to start, he comes walking in. He was still sleeping or something.
Patrick Orlowski was on his kit. He was going to play the show with us, remember?
He was going to do he was going to do the show. That's right. Yep.
Frank
my God.
Frank's never done that.
Right.
First one there, I don't know what the hell he was thinking, but hey, it happens. What are you going to do?
Wasn't he lost or something, that gig? I thought, didn't he go the wrong way?
No, he just forgot we had a show.
Oh, yeah. He forgot.
I don't know why. It's strange, man. But it worked out. It was
absolutely. Yeah, that was one of the gigs.
Showtime guys were really gave him a hard time, which rightfully deserved.
Well, that was the first time I heard Grit and Grace too. That I actually got a chance to hear you guys.
Yeah, we never get a chance, obviously.
Right? Yeah, I mean, just playing all the time like we do. We all never get a chance to see each other play, and that's what I'm hoping that Z and I can change here on the Local Music Mondays. Get a chance to hang with you guys, and hopefully, down the line when we can all get back together again, maybe we can do some original tunes, collaborate a little bit, something like that, where we can, bring the music end into it. So,
absolutely, man. I know if I'm down on Varick Street playing and you guys are playing, like on my break, I'll run over and check you guys out, because you guys are like my favorite band. You know that, but so
appreciate that, man.
It's hard though. It's kind of cool to watch everybody right now. Right? Cool deal, because I never get a chance to see half the people I've been watching lately. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Who are some of your favorites right now?
Believe it or not, last night I just watched Scott Sterling.
Oh, the Monkees.
Yeah.
Oh man, it was great. He plays. I mean, he's a great I was looking at it, and because Frank, our drummer, is really good friends with him, and so am I. And I watched it, and I sent Frank a message. I go, this guy's like one of the hottest guitar players in the area, man. You know what I mean? You don't notice it until you get an acoustic in his hand. He's just
sure.
He's filling in the rhythm, adding stuff on the top. I'm like, but he's got that 70s real good groove to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, so anyways, I watched that yesterday. It was great. I watched a lot of people. Obviously, Gary Johnson. I watched Tim Moyer. I watched a lot of people. Just
Yeah. Right, exactly. I was glad Moyer and Matt got back together finally. Matt came out of his house. We all were scared and didn't know whether or not he was still alive, but he was there. So.
I watched it.
It's cool I got both of you guys on because you two both surprised me with like your guitar techniques. Ultimate shredders, the both of you. I remember the first time I saw Justin shred that guitar. He had the PRS, and I'm like looking in there. I had to like get up closer and watch what he was doing. And Dave, I think like the very first time I saw Grit and Grace, the same thing happened with me watching you too. I mean, both of you guys got incredible guitar techniques, so it's cool to have you both on here at the same time. The guitar shredders, if you will.
I think it's more of a feel thing, though. I don't know if it's shredding. Shredding is cool, but
sure.
Like I watched that video of Showtime. You guys just did the whole band, and that Michael Jackson song of all songs. I mean, I don't know. Eddie Van Halen played with Michael Jackson. I don't know if he was on that track or not. Was he?
No, he was on. He was on Beat It. Yep.
All right, but that song you guys did. I mean, that solo, it's shredding, but it's like tasteful. You know what I mean?
Sure, yeah.
And that's what I like. That's how you play.
Yeah, and it's I like you said, it's feel 100% with. I mean, anybody. I mean, if you don't have feel, then I mean, you can't be taught feel. So I mean, you could be the greatest shredder in the world, and if you don't know feel, if you don't feel what you're playing, then there's no emotion, and you're just going through the motions. So
yeah,
that's just the way I look at it, But yeah, I remember when we did a Christmas CD with Kelly, and the first time I really heard you get into it was when Mitch came in, and you and Mitch got to trade off and on solos. And I thought that was so cool. Oh my God, man! Just sitting there. See, I wish you could have saw me. I was like sitting there because I was producing the thing, so I was sitting there watching the two of them go back and forth. It was like one of those like guitar battle things, and I'm like Kelly's like, oh, you got to hear Dave Brown can shred too. He says. He's like, because all I knew Dave at the time was, the country guy in Fulton Chain Gang,
Right.
So I knew he could chicken pick like the best of them, whatever. I knew he was an incredible guitar player. He showed up with this, I think you had your telly that day too. And
I recorded that track on the telly, but you let me borrow your PRS, I think, on one of them. Maybe
that's right. Yep. But the telly was the one that you, all of a sudden he starts ripping a solo with the telly. And like the difference between his rig and Mitch's rig, it played so well together. And the two of them, it was like, two different styles of music entirely, but they both came together and played so well together. It was just awesome.
I love the way that song came out overall.
Yeah,
everything.
Absolutely. We did a lot of good things on those Christmas CDs. You know what I mean? A lot of good things. That was another one of those things where we tried to get everybody together from the area, and I hope to be able to do something like that again, because I think I took it for granted at the time, just trying to get through it and get it done, that you don't really take the time to enjoy what's actually happening.
Well, you're not to interrupt, but you're spitting one out every year, and that's a lot of work to, you guys doing originals and you're producing and everything else, a lot of work,
right.
And try to, selling them. But if you did,
sure.
But now you haven't done one in a while, right? I don't know if you guys have done one.
Yeah, it's been about 5 years. Yeah, it's been about 5 years since we've done one. I know that, Kelly does, things here and there. He's bringing some drummers in, that was the coolest thing for me, is just every time he brings a drummer in, he needs a guitar player. He calls me, or, and I show up and I'm playing guitar for Kenny Arnoff and playing guitar for Mark Schulman from Pink. I'm like, what am I doing? You know what I mean? This is great.
Yeah, but you deserve that spot though, bro. It goes to show you that you work your butt off and you get the recognition though.
Well, and that's the hardest part. I mean, it's working hard. I mean, being in a local cover band. I mean, Dave, how that goes. It's it's very, very tough to get. I feel like you have to almost be a better guitar player than you would be if you played your own original music to when you're in a cover band, because to get that recognition, you have to somehow do something different. You know what I mean? You have to be have your own style still, and to do that, and it takes many years, as Dave knows. I mean, you're very respected in the area, and it took you a long time, I'm sure.
Well, the funny thing is, like in Grit and Grace, we'll listen to some of the songs that we do, like we'll hear them on the radio, and we're like, holy crap, that's the song? Because like if you've played a while, you make it your own.
Sure.
And that's what's cool about it, though. I mean, you don't want to go out there and play just like the record. You're just turn the jukebox on. You want to put a little bit of you in there, and it kind of just happens for a while. And that because it's cool when you're jamming with other musicians, things just kind of morph into something. You know, even though it's a cover tune, it kind of makes it your own. You know. Yeah,
of course, absolutely. I think that's extremely important too. That's the most important thing as far as being in a cover band. It's like, you know, I've heard a lot of original artists say that, you know, you're talentless if you're in a cover band, but I think that it sometimes takes even more talent to be in a cover band because you actually have to play a technique that's not yours and then somehow make it feel like you, but at the same time you want it to be recognizable towards the audience. So, I mean, it's a difficult process. It really is, and especially to find a group of people in your own area that you can gel with and have chemistry with. You know, it's very difficult to do. So,
absolutely, man.
Dave, how long's Grace been a thing?
Almost 10 years.
Oh, is it really?
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, the lineup we have now has been together longest. Bob Lett joined about 8 years ago, I think, and Frank 6 years ago. So we had a different bass player and different drummer before them, but I mean, it was short-lived, so those guys are pretty much original. Yeah, we've been together for quite a while, and I like that, to have the same players, you know what I mean? I've been in some bands that you're switching players every year, you know, it's like, I mean, it's cool to play with different players, but it's nice to have an identity too, you know what I mean? Sure. And I like the fact that when people come to a show, they see the same people on the stage and they expect it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a very difficult thing, especially if you're wanting to do something long, like, you know, longer in the area, you know, you got like a long-term plan for a band. I mean, I know from firsthand experience when a member leaves that band, it's very difficult to, you know, it's very difficult to move on. I mean, you have to, but the band changes. You know, we did our 20-year anniversary show at the Stanley at the showroom at the casino, and we had all the guys come back, and it was the first time I'd ever played with all those guys, and then realized that each version of that band was completely different than the version before. You know, the chemistry was different. You know, I mean, you got to know that. I mean, you've played in a couple different bands, you know, over your lifetime. I mean, you've played in you know, back in the 80s, you were in some different hard rock bands, right?
Yeah, heavy metal, actually.
Yeah, heavy metal, yep.
You know,
so, I mean...
But I remember your band when I was in the early Fulton Chain Gang, you know, with the original singer and all that. I think we did a show. We used to play over there in Utica all the time. I think it was Taste. I think we might have been Utica Monday Night or one of those types of things.
Sure, Hannah Park.
Yeah, and that was the first time I actually seen you guys, but it was a different lineup. You had a different keyboard player. Mike wasn't there at the time, and then you had a young kid playing like lead or something.
Okay, so that was I was playing lead.
Sean was playing acoustic.
Huh? No. That one, that was, believe it or not, that was the first time we played without Jose. That was he had left the band and Rock Graziano came in and he was playing bass.
Jose was there. I'm telling
Jose was there. Are you sure?
Kid, maybe you weren't there for some reason. I don't know. There's a guy like a young kid. Maybe it was you. It was young kid playing guitar.
You know what? That probably was Ben Salzman. When I left Showtime for like 6 months maybe, and they changed the name of the band. They called themselves The Next. And it was the same as Jose, Joe, and John, who are the 3 original members of Showtime with me. And then they added Ben Salzman when I left, and they became The Next. So I mean, it's pretty much just Showtime.
I'd probably seen this band then, the first time.
Yeah.
Later, I've seen you guys.
It's funny how that happened because Ben joined The Next, and then I left the band and I started Poor Tim with Sean. And then when we went back to Showtime right before Sean left for Iraq. And we combined the 2 bands, so then Showtime was the original Showtime plus Sean and Ben.
Yeah.
So like we had
because I seen it again, and I seen a few other players, and then after that, everything went like back to normal or something. It was weird.
Yeah. But I mean, it's tough. It's really tough, like going back and forth and different members and stuff. I mean, you know, for the most part, it's been. I mean, Showtime has always been. Joe and I have always been in the band. Jose. Pretty much he's been the longest standing bass player. He was the original bass player. He left for a little while and Rock Graziano played and then Jose came back. So, but it's always been the 3 of us really. And John Short was our original keyboard player. And we bring them back for some shows here and there. If if Mike can't make it or something, John will come back or Keith will come back. We're all still friends, which is great. So we can all still play.
I think Keith James was playing keys back when I'm talking about right now. I think.
Yeah, Keith was with the Next at the time. Yep.
Or something like that. Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, yeah. So you get little changes in the lineup and stuff, but it's still the same band.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Rock
but
and
anyway,
roll,
you guys
brother.
are great, man. I love your band.
I appreciate that, man. Feelings mutual.
Some of the other bands I really enjoy Off the Reservation, man.
Oh my God, they're so good, dude. Tiger's it's like Steve Perry singing every song. Like, think about that. Think about Steve Perry being the lead singer of a cover band. That's like literally what Off the Reservation is, because Tiger is. Well, he sounds just like him.
Almost the whole band can sing like really well, and they kind of got a vibe like you guys. They got a lot of them sing. They're all good instrumentals.
Yeah,
I love that. And you guys, the vocal harmonies are incredible.
Yeah. The first.
Have you guys ever done a show with them?
No, we did a show where Tiger played an acoustic happy hour before us. It was someplace in Fulton. And it was like an old bank that we played in, and Tiger played for a little while by himself, and then we played after. But Off the Reservation, I saw a video of them, and they opened up. It was like, I want to say it was Harbor Fest, and they opened up with that Tubes song. Step right up and don't be shy.
Oh,
that one. Yeah. And that they did that song, and it was insane. Like, I don't know why they started with that song, but it worked so well, and everybody was like, yeah. You know what I mean? It was so funny, like some cheesy 80s song, you know what I mean? And they're like, people are going nuts, but they played it great. It was insanely good.
I seen a video of them doing the Caddyshack theme.
Oh, yeah.
It was great, man.
Oh, yeah, Tiger's nuts, though. Do you remember when he was with Dave Hawthorne? It was Dave and Tiger. Dave Hawthorne was from Syracuse.
Yeah, I know the deal, but I never seen it.
Yeah, they were both of them are just incredible. Tiger with his voice, and Dave plays great guitar, and he's got a really unique, like, kind of folky voice. So the two of them together were really, really good.
Yeah, that's cool.
But they used to get crazy though. They drink all this Jack Daniels, and Tiger would get up on Dave. Tiger would get up on Dave's shoulders, and they'd run around the bar and like crazy shit like that.
Actually, Dave, give me a good drunken playing story. Like you've been on stage absolutely hammered playing music. Give me a good one.
All right. Well, I got a lot of them, but this is the first. This one just comes to mind. The only reason I thought of this, when you asked, is because old sound guy Dave LeKay, he actually took over Nothing Fancy. But anyways, the early Fulton Chain Gang days, he did sound, and we used to have all that big. Remember the big gear, Justin?
Oh yeah.
We had all that stuff. The old Par 64 cans. So he put a picture on Facebook. Remember these? And I go, yeah, I do. I came running across the stage because when I was younger, I used to like to run around the stage and have a good time and all that.
Yeah.
Run around the stage. I hit the damn lights. The top part came off, and the lights were on my back, and they were still on. Running around the stage with the lights going off, and these dudes were going, yeah. Dave was just looking at me like, you're an idiot, man. So I guess that's a good drunken story.
Hell yeah.
That Cave Lake Campground, partying spot.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. There's one.
What about you,
There's
Z?
more.
Oh, my God, I've had several. You want my I'll give you my best one. All right. So Choke Slam one night decided we were going to wear diapers because it was our 1-year anniversary as a band, and we're babies, so we're going to wear diapers. So bottle of Jameson into the set. I'm wearing diapers on stage. Of course, lo and behold, my diapers fall off. And I'm like on stage. I'm on stage and I'm naked. And like my base is covering up. And I look down, and the first person I make eye contact with, my mother.
Oh, shut up.
She's crying. She's laughing so hard because I'm naked on stage. She's in tears. She's laughing. I'm like, get up here, right? So I got my back to the crowd, and my ass is sticking out. Yeah. And she's trying to pull my diapers up. She's like, wow. She's like, after 33 years, I'm still putting on your diapers. Cry. I'm like, just put my diapers back on, would you please, mother?
Oh, yeah, my God.
Mom. So I'm pulling she pulls the diapers back on, and I went back out there and played more Black Sabbath covers.
Dude, I don't want to tell another story after that. I'm good. I don't think I need to repeat that.
That's a good one right there. I'm glad I told mine first.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's a true story. That one's definitely going in the books for sure.
Oh hell yeah.
I'm surprised you even admit that. Dude, I would eliminate that story.
I've got nothing to hide, brother.
Nope.
I got nothing to hide.
No, I'm sure it's all documented somewhere anyway, you know.
Yeah, right. Especially as we're on our devices right now.
Yeah, you know it, man. Definitely.
Yeah. Dave, during this quarantine period and this whole universal lockdown, you writing any music? You playing a lot? I've noticed you doing some live streams. What else you been doing to keep the mind occupied?
I've been playing. I want to start writing, actually, now that you mention it, but I haven't. But anyways, I've been playing a lot of songs I don't normally play. I play a lot of country music with Grit and Grace, so I'm kind of playing a lot of heavy metal right now. And on my electric, a lot of Iron Maiden stuff like that. Yeah, I love it. And I've been doing like a lot of. I'm getting into like for acoustic, like a lot of '90s rock songs. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. And actually, I'm not a singer, so I've been trying to like sing stuff I can't sing on purpose, just to kind of get better. You know what I mean? So I'm looking at this time. And live streams, I'm just looking at it. It's kind of for me, really. I know people watch it, but I'm doing it for me. Try some different music, try to get my voice better. I'm always trying to get a little better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I guess that's it, man. Just have fun, play some music.
Absolutely. That's so good to hear, man. It's like, you know, you hear somebody say, I'm just trying to get better. And that's like, I mean, I feel if you're a musician and you're saying, I'm the best there is right now, I'm the best that I'll ever be, you know, then you have no business playing as far as I'm concerned. You know what I mean? If you got to be able to say, you know, I'm still getting better. You know, I mean, every day I try so hard to get better because I don't think they'll ever get a point. I hope that I'm 95 years old, still alive and still playing and trying to get better. You know what I mean? It's like, it never ends, you know?
Even if you're like the best, which I don't know if you ever really are, at whatever you do style-wise, there's always another style. Like, you know, I picked up my acoustic. I don't have a classical. I wish I did. I sold it, but I've been playing some classical, you know. That's obviously something that's very challenging.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
Seriously.
Well, I've noticed too that, like, you know, every time that you try a different musical style, that then you go back to whatever band you're playing in, and you interject some of those styles and scales that you're learning into your playing with that, and all of a sudden, you know, people in your band are like, oh, I never heard you play like that before. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, you know, whatever. But you know in your heart that you're bringing that stuff that you've been really working hard on. You're bringing that style into what you're doing, you know, and it helps to create your own style, you know.
Absolutely, man. Like when I do a solo, a lot of times when I do a solo, unless it's a really signature thing, I just make the stuff as I go along.
Sure, me too.
Chicken picking stuff in there from country. I might throw some shredding, you know, lead stuff. Kind of make it your own. That's what we were talking about earlier. That's usually by just learning a bunch of styles and also playing with other people, because everybody plays. That's why I love playing with other people. Like if I jam with you, it's going to be much different than jamming with Tiger or someone else.
Sure.
Because you guys play and sing differently. So you kind of adjust your style if you're listening, you know, to that, whatever they're doing. And I don't know, it just makes it fun, man. You just keep learning new things and interjecting.
Dave, do you teach?
I like talking to him.
Yeah, right.
Dave, you teach guitar too, right? Aren't you an instructor? Yeah. Do you have?
I was a professor. I taught at OTC for like 10 years.
That's right.
I got a studio. I teach private lessons. My degree, I have a master's degree in classical. That's kind of what I did, but I haven't played classical in like 10 years.
Yeah. Well, where are you teaching out of now? Like where are you? What village, I should say?
That's Music and Arts in Clay, New York.
Okay.
But I'm not teaching right now because it's
obviously right. Yeah.
Not open. So.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we can get back to that too. It's fun to watch.
I'm writing that down right now so I can call you for lessons when this whole thing ends.
Yeah, right.
You guys can do it over Zoom, man. Do it over Zoom. I know, right?
I know. I would love to do that, man. I want to study again just because it's been like so long. Now I feel like I want to do it now because, you know, I have the time to do it now. You know what I mean? It's summertime. It's like, you know how it is. Summertime starts and there's no rehearsing. There's no practicing. Literally, it gets to the point I played 14 days in a row. The last thing I want to do is pick my guitar up out of my case and play it. You know what I mean? Because it gets that crazy in the summertime. So, and then by wintertime, it's just it's winter. It's like I got to get out of that habit of not wanting to study. You know what I mean? Like I always practice. I always take my guitar and play, but like to actually study and learn like new scales, new ways of playing different things. Like I really want to get back into that again. So
I think the quarantine, that's what it did it for me, because I feel the same way. I play a lot too, and
yeah,
I feel exactly what you just said. But this quarantine was cool because I grabbed some sheet music. You know, I know how to read music, obviously, and everything. So I'm like reading like classical music, and my girlfriend's coming down like, what the hell is that? That sounds really nice. And I'm like, wow, I didn't know. I've never heard you play like that. You know, and I'm like, well, it's beautiful. It's great. You know,
sure.
And you know, I'm like, hey, you know, I'm sick of doing the same stuff on guitar. So I love YouTube. I'll go on YouTube. How the hell they do that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Start looking up things. But again, it's just the quarantine is kind of what makes me do things like this, because I wouldn't have done that otherwise. Probably.
Right.
It's fun
trying new things is always good. And now that we all have the time to do it, and Justin, you were talking about summer. I hope we can get some kind of a summer where you guys can go back out and play a couple gigs here and there. And, you know, with this whole social distancing thing and physical distancing thing that's going on.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough for venues. The venues are going to be the last to open, unfortunately. And then when they do open, it's going to be like getting back to capacity, half capacity and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, did you see that?
It's going to be a shame, but at least we could get something going, you know?
Yeah. Well, there was that thing, I think it was in the Netherlands or whatever, that they set up a makeshift stage and they cut out like an area and they had like, it was like a drive-in concert. Like they put a band up on a big stage, like Saranac, and like they sold tickets for like $10-15 a piece, and they all came in and drove their cars, and like people parked them in rows, and they watched this band put on a concert from their cars. It was like the coolest thing. I'm like, all right, let's do that. You know, I mean, something. Let's do something. You know what I mean? It's there's got to be a way around. You know,
Jackie and I just did a show at Angry Garlic, and they had a separate room with glass, and he goes, "You run a speaker out front. Everybody's getting takeout, kind of a similar thing, but on a smaller scale."
Sure.
Most fun I've had and you know, in like 2 months.
Yeah.
Sitting there, and people are like walking by, they're listening on the speaker, and they're leaving cash tips or whatever, and they're like, yeah, they started dancing on the sidewalk. I don't know if that's cool or not, you know, but it was fun.
Oh yeah, sure. But I think everybody's jonesing now. I mean, it's absolutely crazy. What I mean, if bars can last to get through this, they'll be pleasantly surprised with the amount of business that they're going to get after this is over, I'm sure, because people are just dying to get out. You know, they're dying to get out and dying to be social, you know, because humans are social beings. You know what I mean? That's what we do. We're supposed to be social. We're not solitary, even though some people can be. You know, I mean, some people don't even know there's a quarantine because they quarantine themselves every day. But the rest of us, we enjoy getting out and hanging out with people, you know what I mean? And making music for people and watch people smile and dance. And it's just, I don't know. Can't explain it, man. If you're not a musician, you've never done it, you don't know. It's something. It really is.
Totally.
We'll get back there soon enough, brother. And both you guys have though been rocking it on your live stream, and encourage everybody the live stream is going to be, even though we're in quarantine now or in lockdown, I mean, it's going to be a thing for a while now. I see a lot of you artists. I mean, Justin, when it all comes back to normal, I see you continuing your live stream after maybe doing it once a week, right? I mean,
oh yeah, absolutely.
Why would you stop?
There's no reason to it, especially like, you know, you're writing a new song or whatever and you want to play it. Just, you know, who's to stop us from going live on Facebook and you got something to do. It's, hey, here's a song I'm learning. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, anybody could do it. And it's like, I think that none of us really understood the whole Facebook Live thing. And, you know, we would do it from like the show. Like we'd be at the show and like go Facebook Live for like 30 seconds at a show and then go off. And like, I don't think anybody realized that, like the power of, you know, I had somebody on from Minnesota today. I had somebody on from California today. You know, I mean, they never would have seen me if I didn't do this. You know what I mean? And it's just cool. You get messages from people and they're like, hey, man, you know, cheers from California. You sound good. And it's like, that's great, man. You know, touching people I didn't even realize that I could, you know?
Yeah. I connected with some old friends like that I haven't seen in years. Way when I was just a kid, and they're on there watching. They're from another state.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, and it's like, wow, I haven't seen them in years, you know?
Yeah, man. Oh, it's something. It's definitely changed the demographic of life, that's for sure. You know what I mean? It's I think that we'll take some positives from this, though. You know, as much as everybody's kind of depressed and going crazy right now, I think that there's some positive things to come out of this with, you know? and it's going to change our lives. But hopefully we can all stay positive, and as hard as it is, it's just there's so much good coming that I think that, you know, we just got to keep our heads up and keep positive with everything, you know?
Indeed. Hey, Justin, I'm finally checking comments, and I totally forgot today's May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. So how come you're not live from the Death Star today?
Oh, my God. You know, it's funny that you say that, because I'm like, you know, it's probably stupid that I did that stupid background, but you know what? Let me see what I can do here. Hang on.
That was killer.
I got this. I got this.
Also, Mike Cameretta saying Showtime, the best band in New York State. Thank you, guys. Everybody out in Facebook land, if you could do us a favor and click the share button, help spread the word of what we're doing here on EC Radio with Local Music Monday, the Disruption Network, Grit and Grace, Showtime, all hands on deck, you know? Oh, there you are. There you go. I like it.
Da, 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 right?
May the 4th be with you, I guess.
May the 4th be with you.
Yeah, I know. Not too much.
What the hell was
that?
Yeah, sorry about that. My bad. You ever see those people? They're trying to do something and try to make it sound like it. You ever see those things? And you know, you're watching a YouTube video of somebody playing in the style of so and so, and like you'll hear the songs, you'll kind of hear bits and pieces of the song, but they're playing another way so they don't get sued.
Yeah. Or they'll tweak the pitch or something, or speed. Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
I just, you know, yeah.
May the 4th be with you. But also, you guys, much love from Dallas. Mike's giving us a shout out.
I love
from
that,
Dallas. Dude. Thank you, Mike. Rob Capizano saying good to see you, Dave. So good to see everybody out there in Facebook land.
Hey,
thank you so much. How could people find Grit and Grace? You guys pretty much all over social media. Do you have a website?
Yeah, I got the website, gritandgraceband.com. We're on Facebook, Grit and Grace, all that jazz, Instagram. That's it. Just the pages, look up Grit and Grace, and we'll be there. Well, we'll be there, secluded at home, but we'll be there.
Yeah, right.
Do you have any live streams planned, like you did the Angry Garlic thing the other day? Do you have any more in store?
Right now, well, I'm working on doing a full band one. I don't know if that's going to happen. I'm hoping it does, because I really enjoyed the duet. That was cool.
Yeah.
So, but if you go on our page, you can look at the you know, the duet with me and Jackie. But I want to get a full band one going soon.
Definitely. Yeah, and as long as you can keep 6 feet apart, you should be all right. That's what we did with Showtime. You know, we all got in the room, but we kept our distance from each other, I guess, and it worked out great. We still jam together, which is great. So,
good feeling, isn't it?
Oh my
God! I
God.
like playing music with other people, man, because it's a communication thing for me. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing when you go to play a guitar riff, and I'm sure it happens with you and Frank a lot. You'll go into something where you're playing some cool lick, and he does the same lick on the drums because he feels what you're doing. You know what I mean? It's like a cool thing. Yeah.
I love that. Oh, you and Joe, I mean, you've been together so long. And me and Frank's been jamming a long time, too.
Sure.
You know, some other people had that connection with Mike, Mike Oliver on the drums. We had that connection. Kelly Yako, too. Yeah. But, it's so cool when you get especially the drums. It's funny you said the drummer, because I'm always playing off a drummer. I don't know why.
Yeah, me too, man. I'm always there.
Why is that?
I don't know, man.
You're the only dude that said that besides me. When you said it, I was like, wow.
Always. Everybody's like, oh, you know, what guitar videos are you watching on Facebook or on YouTube right now? And I'm like, I'm watching drum videos.
Yeah.
Like literally.
Yeah, it's cool, because I like to do a little triplet thing, and you're like, wow, that was cool. Next time back around, you do a little thing there. And if you're listening, it's like, then like you said, you do it. You're like, we're always improvising a little bit, you know, but no one really knows it. And then you hit that triplet or whatever it is at the same time, and you're like, dude,
that's so cool.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
and then you're like, try to do it again, and they're like, nah, screw it. We'll just go with it next time. We'll do something.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think honestly, a drummer is the most important member of the band, just because, I mean, if everybody can focus in on the drummer, everybody in the band focuses in on what the drummer's doing, you know, you'll always be a tight band. You know what I mean? Because if you open up your ears, you listen to what the drummer's doing, you're following, you know, what they're doing, always be tight.
Your drummer's a monster. You know, he's real tight. Our drummer's real good. He's, you know, the man as far as being tight. You've heard him.
Yeah.
And it's like, you got someone that's tight like that, And both those guys are kind of the same way. They can play, man. They can like carrot, but they don't overdo it, you know?
Right.
Like we say, tasteful on guitar, they're tasteful on drums.
Tasteful on the drums, they're always in the pocket.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I watched Joe play like Rosanna, and I just want to bear hug him, man. It's like freaking believable. It's like groove from hell. You know? But most people I don't think see that, how good he is, man. He's, I mean, the average person, because he's so tasteful with it, you know?
Completely agree with that.
A monster. You know
the old saying, your band is just as good as your drummer, right? Isn't that how the old saying goes? And it's true. I mean, Joe Rossi's a freaking clock, that dude.
Yeah, you're not kidding. Yeah, he holds it all together, but we all follow him, and it's not even like following. It's playing with him. You know what I mean? I'm using the wrong terminology. It's not so much as that we follow him. It's just that we hear him. You know what I mean?
You sync with him, right?
Yeah, and we're always paying attention to what he's doing. You know, and for the most part, like I think a lot of that comes from. We used to do a lot of Dave Matthews Band, like way back, like when Dave was huge in the 90s. You know, we got to the point where we did a full Dave Matthews tribute set. Like the whole last set was all Dave Matthews music. And like we had to stop doing that because like we get about 15 people at Brownies and Herkimer to watch the first two sets. And then all of a sudden it'd be 400 people for the third set. So we had to start mixing it up again. And we realized that was a bad thing to do. But doing that kind of stuff, I mean, Dave Matthews Band was kind of a jam band, you know. We always tried to mimic what they were doing live. And, you know, they always, that's where we learned how to jam, really. And that's where I think that we all learned how to kind of listen to what Joe is doing to kind of push us into the next spot, or, you know, to know when the song was getting ready to end. I mean, you know, and I mean, we're all listening to each other, but I mean, I think that I'm most in tune with Joe out of everybody in the band. So.
Lock right in too.
Yeah.
And Frank Grit and Grace, man. I remember him when he was playing in Drac Jones back in the day.
Yeah, he played with Maryland's Chamber too. Before
Maryland's Chamber.
Yeah, before oh man, are you kidding me?
Dude, yeah.
What's the band that the biggest band is Under the Gun?
Under the Gun. Right, right. Lee.
They were those dudes. Frank played with them. Yeah. Wow. Frank went on the road for a long time too.
Yeah, the thing that makes me laugh about Frank that time at the Barden Mudfest, we were breaking his balls for coming in late, breaking his balls. He sat down and started playing, and we all went. I'm like, I'm done. I'm not busting his balls anymore. This dude's incredible.
Frank's really quiet too. You know, he just
continues like, hey guys, sorry I'm late. Hey guys, sorry I'm late. Ah! What the hell's going on?
It was like just
frustrations out on the drum.
Just before you guys got on, like he had just enough time to like park his car, sit on the throne, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 hit that show.
He did. He went into it.
And just right into it. It didn't miss a beat. It was crazy.
Oh, yeah. Outstanding.
You know, that's
solid,
how you,
man.
And that right there, that's how you know you have a solid drummer too.
Oh yeah,
like the guy could just sit right down and just take right over and get it. My favorite drummers too are always the ones that you can't really necessarily hear.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Do you know what I mean? Like they're just kind of in the pocket. Joke? They're holding it down. No, there's a lot of drummers. No, it's.
I gotta use that.
Yeah, right.
I just say that to Frank next time he pisses me off.
Hear me out. Like there's a lot of drummers, and like the one that comes to mind for me all the time, I always refer to my buddy Vinny Amico from Mo. Like he's such a great drummer that you barely hear him. He just keeps it going. He's always pushing it out there. There's a lot of those drummers on the jam scene are like that. They have that quality, you know. And they just keep it going. You just keep it going.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, I do. Mm-hmm. And who's the other? There was. In Grateful Dead, there was always two drummers, and the one drummer would play the straight beats, and the other drummer was just playing like fills and like this little thing, and you never even knew he was there unless you were looking at him. Like if you just were listening, you know, on your headphones or whatever, you probably wouldn't realize that there's another drummer there. But then you see him, and you're realizing all this intricate stuff that he's playing. And I remember the first video I ever saw, like I was watching him so intensely that I started to actually be able to pick out different things that he was doing, you know, in the song. And I was like, wow, that's, you know, it's pretty incredible when they could do that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So Allman Brothers, Doobie Brothers, a lot of two drummer bands do that. So.
Yeah, smooth. I know what you're saying. Z. Smooth.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you got those lunatic drummers that's all you can hear is drums.
Liberty DeVito.
Yeah.
Billy Joel's drummer.
Yeah.
Well, he was with Billy Joel for all those hundreds of years. He came in to play. I set up next to a snare drum when I played with him, and he literally raises his arm above his head to come down and hit the snare drum, and it's like just ridiculous. You should look him up sometime.
Oh yeah, well versed. Borgia's celebrating that we're talking about drummers right now. Dave Borgia.
Of course he is.
Hey, Dave.
Yes, he is, man. There's a lot in this area. We're loaded with a lot of great drummers.
Oh yeah,
a lot of them. Their last names end in a vowel.
That's for sure. That's for sure.
What are you saying, man?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm just as Italian as they are, man. And I can say it, the giddy bastards. No, there is, but I actually want to compile a list of all the top Italian drummers in the area, Justin. I think me and you should do that one day.
Dude, I'm in because there's a lot of them. There really is. There's a lot of them. And a lot of people, there might be like for you, for instance, you're very much Italian, even though your last name isn't about, like you're one of the rare, there's that rare thing where you're mostly Italian, but except for your last name, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's me. And you.
Yes, yeah. So it's almost like your mom named you Anthony, so everybody knows you're Italian. It's like even though your last name's Donaldson, I'm gonna name him Anthony, so then at least people will know he's Italian.
Kind of right.
Now Dave Brown, that's Italian too, right?
Yeah.
My grandmother's maiden name was Gaivo.
Ah, there you go. See.
There you go.
See, I knew it. Hey, Mike wants to know, when did you play with Liberty DeVito, Justin?
Oh, I played with Liberty twice actually. 2005 or 6. Kelly brought Liberty in. Well, yeah, he brought Liberty in. Keith James was doing a recital for all of his kids had learned Billy Joel songs, and Kelly got a hold of Liberty. Liberty came in, and we had this like all-star band that got together and played at MV. And we got to play the whole show there, and then we all went to the Devereaux, and there was like 2 drum sets set up, so like all the drummers in the area could get up and play with Liberty, and it was a really, really cool event. And the second time I had him come up when I did my CD release party for my CD when it came out in 2007, and Liberty came up and played my CD release party with me.
What?
Yeah.
How cool is that?
It was a Glory Days in Herkimer. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, I talked to Liberty for a while, and I still keep in touch with him every once in a while. But he's an incredible drummer, very, very loud, very hard hitting, but great guy.
Oh,
Definitely.
That's awesome. Never knew that he played on your CD release party. That's super cool.
Yeah, it was like that. That's a whole nother story I'll get into another time. There was some funny stuff that happened on that day.
Pal, your resume is pretty impressive, man, of all the musicians you've played with throughout the years.
Yeah, I've been really, really lucky, man. That's all I can say. I'm very blessed, very lucky.
Good stuff, man.
Dave, you play with some people too, right?
I've opened up for a lot of national acts over the years.
Yep.
A lot of country stuff, obviously, but I opened up for a lot of rock things too.
Yeah.
Leonard Skinner, Molly Hatchet, stuff like people like that. I've done
The
a lot
good
of
music.
things. Yeah, I don't want to brag about stuff like that. I want to brag about you, Justin.
Oh, come on. I don't want you to brag about
Justin's better than all of them.
Maybe down the road we could get you guys to collaborate.
Oh my God, I would love it. Dude, yeah. I think it'd be like one of those things though where like we'd start playing it and like you guys would sign off like the show and Dave and I would just keep going for like 2 days straight. We'd just keep playing. Oh dude, check this out. Oh my God, check this out. Like we would totally nerd out, Dave.
Huh?
We would totally nerd out.
Oh, big time, man. Big time. I just like to play. This is killing me, man. I'm gonna get out and play with musicians again,
Sure. Yeah. I mean, especially I haven't played any electric guitar. None of my amps are here. I got like my Kemper pedal that I got that I could set up in some studio monitors or whatever, but it's still not like getting in front of that amp and playing with the band. It's tough to, I just can't wait to just rock again, just play something with distortion.
I've been jamming Iron Maiden tunes on my one of my first guitars, a Squire Strat, unplugged.
Oh,
Like
that's so
unplugged.
awesome.
I'm just like, what am I doing?
Hey,
That's awesome.
Dave, are you a gearhead? Are you? Do you collect?
No, not as much as Justin is a gearhead. I remember coming to, again, I was at a gig up north and I was heading down and I was going through Old Forge and I'm like, Showtime's playing. So of course I had to stop. And at the end of the show, just every time Justin, I happen to go to the show and he gets new gear, he's like, check this out, check this out. So I looked at it and I'm like, I don't know what the hell half of that is. So I just pick up a guitar and play it, but he's into all that stuff and it sounds great, his tone and everything. So maybe I got to get into it more. I don't know.
You're doing just fine with what you got. I'll tell you that right now.
I just kind of plug and play, you know.
Yeah.
But,
He is right. You are that guy.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's the thing. You know, there's guitar players like you that's your thing. You know what I mean? That's what you do. And I spent a lot of time. Like every time I would get a new piece of gear, it's just and the whole reason why I got all this gear all these years was because I never quite got the sound that I wanted. You know what I mean? It was never quite there. It was like always close, but it's just not there. And then, you know, I literally have not bought a new piece of gear for my rig, so to speak, in almost 2 years. I think I'm to the point where I'm happy with what I have. So, you know.
Are you still playing that Music Man guitar?
Oh yeah. I play Music Man Luke's and I play the Bogner Ecstasy for my amp head and the Marshall 412, you know, and a bunch of pedals.
You got the Music Man and you're like, dude, I love this guitar. Then I went to see, I think it was at the gig, we're playing upstairs and I went down but then you had like, I think Orange Amps mix was something else or something.
Oh, those were just the Orange Amp speakers. Those were just the 212 speakers.
This sounds great. And then I see again, you didn't have that. Something else. Check this out. Look at this pedal board. It's like, but it sounds great every time. And you know, honestly, every time, and I'm not just saying this, every time I see it, your tone sounds better. So you must be doing something right. I don't know.
Well, it's funny. I like to it's like listening to people and like we just talked about getting better and listening and learning. And, you know, I would always talk to people, you know, what do you think about this? And they're like, well, do you like it? And I'm like, well, I feel like that it needs to be, you know, tighter. I don't know why it's not tight. And they go back behind those the Orange Amp cabinets and they're open back. They're like, well, try switching to a closed back speaker and see if you like that better. And you switch to closed back and all of a sudden the speakers tighten up. And I'm like, that's okay. That's even better. You know, so that's a lot of the times why I switched, you know, equipment like that was because, you know, trying to get to the sound that I want. I mean, I could tell you exactly what the sound was that I wanted. It was just getting to it, and I didn't quite know how to get to it. And so asking around different people is, you know, talking to you and, you know, oh, this is what I got, this is what I do. And, you know, I tried different things and you get, you know, finally you get to a point where you turn on the amp one day, you've got some new gear, you turn on the amp one day, you plug it in and you play and all of a sudden you're like, that's it. That's the sound. That's the sound I've been looking for. You know what I mean? And I thank God finally hit that. It was starting to get too expensive.
Well, I was more of a heavy metal rock guy, and I still am, but I like all the music. But anyways, when I first started playing country, it took me forever to get a cool, clean sound. If that makes any sense.
Oh, it does.
That slightly overdriven tone, but not too much, because most people play, in my opinion, you know, like a rock guy with a bunch of distortion. But like if you want that like 90s kind of chicken picking tone, that's the hardest thing to get, man. So it's funny you said that about the amps, because I was using believe it or not, it was a custom 72 coupe tube amp. It kind of looked like a vinyl furniture, but it sounded cool. It had eminent speakers in it. Not to get all nerdy, but it had an open back, and it was okay. So then, but I got this old PV Sheffield speaker, and with a closed back, it had punch. So you know what I used to do? I looped it with the other one, and I took a mic and put one on each cabinet and put it through the front and hand it. And dude, it was incredible. But it wasn't like the greatest, most expensive gear. It just sounded cool and it worked. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. And that's what I think a lot of people don't realize. It doesn't necessarily have to be the best gear. You know what I mean? It's just got to be what you know, what's going to sound good to you. I mean, how many times you see all these big name artists, they'll get gear that's like, you know, oh, I got this 1940 Gibson. It's got an 8-inch speaker in it. And, you know, it's got a volume and a tone knob. And it's the greatest sounding thing ever. And it works for them. You know what I mean? It's, you know, it's their sound.
You said that. I was in Buffalo. We're opening up for Billy Currington. It was just us and him. It was cool. We had a big stage around the ticket.
That's awesome.
Good. But anyways, so I'm hanging out with the band, and he's got this piece of crap cabinet. But explain to me this, because no one has ever no one's ever explained this to me.
That's good.
I didn't mean that.
You're good.
Since you're a gearhead, and you probably appreciate this, it was a piece of crap cabinet. I don't know what it was, sitting in the back of the stage, off the stage, behind the drums and everything, turned sideways.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like blaring by itself. But he had another cabinet on the stage. I'm like, what the hell is that? Can you explain that to me?
His sound, his tone, for his sound was that cabinet that you heard. That's where the sound was coming from for front of house. And he might have, if the speakers were plugged in that were facing him, then that's just for him, for his monitoring. But that speaker that you heard that was blaring, because a lot of guys do that because, a lot of guys can only get the tone that they want if they play on 8, you know what I mean?
I understood that, but it was weird how it was behind the stage, turned sideways, maybe because it was so loud, right?
Yeah, exactly. So they turn it sideways so that it's not bleeding through to the band, and then that way it can run. They mic it. They go. Some people. I've even seen people use isolation cabinets and stuff. What's his face from AC/DC? I just draw a blank on.
Angus Young.
Angus Young. Thank you. Jeez, Angus Young. I watched the big rundowns on Premier Guitar all the time. I watch all those. They just did a rig rundown with Angus, and he literally has, I would say, 20 Marshall 412s and like 15 Marshall 100-watt heads that all sit behind the stage facing backwards, and they're all on. And that's his sound. But you won't see that on stage because you don't want all that coming out. So, I mean, even like they always say, oh, yeah, I remember they used to use a wall of Marshalls for the 80s, But if you ever look at those back in the 80s, if you ever saw those, all those cabinets were empty except for 2 speakers that were pushing out the sound. I mean, the guy from Cheap Trick had that same thing. You remember when Cheap Trick played the Taste of Syracuse? Mm-hmm. Z, you remember that because you probably worked that show. All of his he had like, I think it was 3, 6, 9, probably 9 212 cabinets on stage.
The wall.
Like the whole wall, yeah. But you look harder at it, there's 212s in the center, and then everything around it was all lights. So like all these beautiful like 212 cabinets that they took all the speakers out and put lights in. You know what I mean? So it's like a lot of it's for show, but whenever you see a cabinet that's behind the stage facing sideways like that with a mic on it, that's their sound. That's where they're getting their tone from.
Yeah, it's just I kind of figured there was a reason, but I've never seen it though. So I've never seen someone do it. And I played a lot of bigger shows, open up for people and all that stuff. I never seen anybody do the way he did it. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's funny because like now
thinking about that recording we did, I had that AC. I didn't mean to interrupt, but the AC-15 Vox amp I had. I brought it into the studio, and man, we stuck it in that room.
Yep,
dude, that thing is loud. And we blasted that thing when we did that recording. I don't even know how loud it was in that room.
Yeah. But I mean, that's the way that you can get. People are so in tune now. Back in the 70s and 80s, nobody cared about their ears. They didn't realize the damage that they were doing. And so now that people realize that, the inner monitors and stuff, that there doesn't need to be speakers on stage blaring out. So that's why they do that. And they can still get that tone cranked up, and not, have it blaring at them.
Well, you have all the amps. I got the quarter switches, so you can get the, I think Eddie Van. Did Eddie Van Halen invent that?
It was like the Brown sound. It's like but his was like a more like it was an attenuator thing. I think that like as you turn the attenuator off, it squished the tubes, like compressed the tubes in a way. It was like a compression thing. I don't know. It's I've watched something on it before, but the Brown sound is that that's definitely something that I don't know. He used a Variac. I think I kind of can't remember how he did it. But
I know the name of what it is, but I don't want to say it sounds stupid because I'm not going to say it right. The thing he used, but he's, I was watching a thing on it too where he'd go and listen, like put things together and just, do his own thing.
Oh yeah, that's the best way to do it.
Blew up a lot of stuff in the process apparently, but hey,
yeah,
worked in the long run.
For sure.
Blow it up. Nice. Well, this has been cool to talk, man. I totally enjoy this, and thank you to everybody out there. Let's see. Wait, hang on. Boris is saying a couple things. Every time I see Justin, he's always got some kind of new gear to show me, like a kid in the candy store. It's true, dude.
Totally.
You are that guy.
I
love you are that guy. I remember when you first got your Bogner. You're like, you got to see this, and
dude,
and that thing has developed your sound. I think I personally think that really has what shaped your sound today.
Yeah, when you're happy about what you sound like, you're happy what you sound like, it inspires you to play better. You know what I mean? You're a better player if you sound good. I mean, if you're not sounding good, man, you're like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? And everything sucks after that,
Right. Indeed. Awesome, man. Well, Dave, thanks for hanging out with us today. Local Music Monday, another one in the books. Justin, you're killing it with this.
Loving it, man. Loving every minute.
Do we got anybody next week?
Not yet, but we'll leave it as a surprise. I mean, I'm running out of people that I know, so I'm going to start tapping into you.
That's not true. That's not true. That's far from the truth. But yeah, for sure. I'm digging these too, man. And hopefully down the road we can get you guys to do a little collaboration and do some kind of like local music like compilation or something. I don't know.
That'd be great. I mean, dude, even if we do like 145 blues like riffs and stuff, I mean, that's technically not something that's written already. I mean, everybody does 145 blues, so we just jam a little instrumental and stuff. I mean, that'd be cool, We can do that on here.
I love it.
So, yeah, man.
Cool, Dave. One more time, Dave.
That's the coolest thing. Sorry.
It is, no doubt. It is the coolest thing, especially with technology going on today and the whole live streaming stuff. But one more time before we get out of here, plug all your social medias and how they can find Grit and Grace on the internet.
Oh, yeah, Grit and Grace Facebook band page. We got our website, www.gritandgraceband.com. And, we're on all social media. Grit and Grace. Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Yes, for the audience again. Do you have a plan to go on live streaming anytime soon that you can plug?
I'm working on it. Nothing solid yet, so nothing to really plug. Kind of in working it out process. I got a venue with a full sound system, so that narrows it down. You can probably figure out where I'm going to do it.
Nice.
Awesome. But we'll figure it out.
Awesome, man. Well, I'm a big fan of Grit and Grace, and keep doing what you're doing, especially when we get back. You guys will be out there in full swing. Justin, you plan on going live streaming anytime this week?
Yeah, actually, the Showtime Trio will be on tomorrow or Wednesday at 5. Sorry, Wednesday at 5. And then Wednesday night we got that thing, the MV at Home thing on TV, and then Heather's got that thing coming up. I think this weekend coming up that she's doing. So we got a couple things on the docket, but definitely Wednesday at 5 is Showtime Trio.
Awesome. Great, man. Cool. Awesome, guys. Well, thanks for hanging out. Shout out to EJA Moving Services, attorney Dave Longaretta. Of course, my friends at Saranac Brewery, too, of course, for keeping us hydrated around here, and Utica Coffee. Tomorrow, Conehead Buddha. You remember those guys, Conehead Buddha? I got Terry Lynch joining me tomorrow. This week's pretty cool. I got Wild Adriatic coming in. Are you guys familiar with Wild Adriatic?
Yeah.
Kick-ass band. I love those guys. And this whole quarantine thing has gotten me to open up the books a little bit more. So I've got some pretty big guests I'm really, really looking forward to chopping it up with. And I'll get to that a little bit more as we get closer to locking some of these down. But, some cool shit. I'm really excited. So lots of good things to look forward to. You can follow us along at disruptionnetwork.net. Like and subscribe to all our social media stuff. And Dave, one more time, thank you so much. And thanks for joining us. And thank you to Justin. This has been a lot of fun.
Thanks for having me.
Also, shout out to Todd back in the studios for all these, always holding it down for the D, man. He kills it back there. And
appreciate it, Todd.
Surprised he's not on the Death Star today.
Why is Todd not showing his face right now?
Yeah. Nobody wants to see it. Nobody wants to see that.
Yeah, right.
We'll see you tomorrow, people. Later.